Hey, what's up? Let's talk about Punisher issue number 1. Warning, there will be spoilers and maybe a little bit of blood, just saying. So our story starts out with Frank waking up on this boat. It's on fire, he is covered in blood, he has been shot in several different parts of his body, his shoulder, his chest, and I believe his leg. He is very much worse for wear. He has been sent there to basically destroy this huge shipment of fentanyl. But get this, he doesn't remember who he is, but he can do all the cool Punisher shit. So as Frank is actually trying to catch his bearings on the boat and figure out what exactly is going on, he actually gets chased off by the Coast Guard of all people, and he actually jumps to the water and starts to drown because he gets weighted down by all the guns and stuff and clothes that he has on his body. We end up switching to the next day to the aftermath where the detectives are actually surveying the chaotic mess of a scene that Frank left. And we end up finding out that the men that Frank killed and the shipment that he destroyed were actually from Tombstone. Yeah, Tombstone. So our story actually cuts over to Tombstone, surprisingly, where he has gathered several of the rival gang members in this big giant meat locker, and he wants to know who the F destroyed all of his drugs and basically killed all of his men. And he is not taking any prisoners, and he basically starts cutting people up left and right with this big, huge butcher knife. Frank actually surprisingly doesn't die and washes up on shore the next day. I mean, if he did die, this would be a very, very short read. But he ends up getting discovered by this old woman and her dog. She's like, oh my God, I gotta call the hospital, help you out. He's like, no hospital, no phone. And he throws her phone in the ocean. And he's like, I need your help. She takes him back, surprisingly, to her house to get him stitched up. And he's like, look, I'm going to do this myself. If I end up passing out from the pain, I need you to finish the job and help stitching me back up. She does that actually because he actually does pass out. And when she does, she's like, hey, do you know who you are? He's like, no, I don't know who I am. But he actually ends up finding out because she tells him, hey, have you ever been shot in the head? Because in the back of your head, you actually have stitches and kind of like a bullet hole wound of some kind. And Frank starts writhing in pain, and he's like, I need a gun. Do you have a gun? And we end up finding out on a computer screen that the Punisher has been activated. And who activated the Punisher but the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. All right, so let's show off the internal artwork for this comic. I can't talk tonight for some reason. Here's your creative team right there. This artwork is so awesome. It is gritty. They do not shy away from all the grit and all the violence and all the blood. Like, it definitely reminds me a lot of the Punisher Max series where that was super violent. And that's what this reminds me of. And they do a very good job of interpreting and showing off what the Punisher goes through and what he has to do to get the job done. They do not shy away from him killing people in this, or him getting injured and having to sew up all his injuries and whatnot. There's this one scene in here where Tombstone just starts decapitating people because what happens. It is a very gruesome scene. But yeah, the artwork is top notch. I love all the coloring, the panel layouts, it definitely fits with this book for sure. So what exactly I think of Punisher issue number 1? Well, it was actually a pretty fun, gritty read. I think it was something actually really needed at the moment because it's, way different than your normal run-of-the-mill superhero stuff. This got surprisingly really violent and definitely earns its red band title because man, ooh, what happens in this is crazy. And I wasn't expecting it to be as violent because the only other red band series I actually ever read of this was the Daredevil one from a couple months ago, which was pretty violent, but not as violent as this. I was really interested to see how Frank was going to fit back into the Marvel Universe after they took him off the table, because Marvel was kind of like, yeah, we're not going to deal with this. People taking the Punisher skull and repurposing it and rebranding it for their own agendas and whatnot. But I find it interesting, like they put him in here, they give him amnesia, and he still like has like all his wits and stuff with them, and he can like, you know, kill people very effectively, I might add. But he doesn't remember who he is and how he got here. Neither do we. We don't know how he got here or where he's been. But I find it so fascinating that they take the Kingpin, which I didn't really touch on it in my recap of this issue. He's actually sort of on this weird revenge redemption arc at the moment, where he's taking down and killing like corrupt individuals, and we end up finding out that he ends up weaponizing the Punisher and is actually currently trying to go after Tombstone, who is the current kingpin of New York City. Which I'm like, damn, like they definitely got their hooks in me with this number one. I'm really interested to see where exactly this story is going to go. I'm really interested to see if they're going to end up touching on the guy who ended up replacing Frank as the Punisher, who was like this SHIELD agent, I believe. I don't remember what his name is, but I don't know if he actually lasted very long or is actually still active in the Marvel Universe at the moment. But I wonder if they are going to actually meet up and, you know, have a way of words or like a fight, because I find that to be really interesting to see like how Frank will react to somebody else taking over the mantle of the Punisher, because you know he's very much like a one-man army, and nobody else has ever really taken over that mantle. So like I wonder if that's going to end up playing effect in this story. But yeah, this story was actually really a lot of fun. It very much was all set up. There was a little bit of action here and there, just a tiny little bit, but we pretty much just saw the aftermath of what happened with Frank and what he did on the boat and stuff. But yeah, I am definitely looking forward to issue 2 and moving forward with this series. It was a lot of fun. The writer and artist definitely have a sense of, you know, who the Punisher is and whatnot. It's very well written, and the artwork is amazing. But I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I'm gonna talk to you, Mike. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out and stay safe. Go read some comics.